fix this. Okay. Okay. This is Barb with Lost and Floss. I think this should be okay. I really am trying. So, yeah. This is Lost and Floss. It is later in the afternoon of Wednesday, July 13th. And I believe this is episode 62. So here we go. Have lots and lots and lots to show you today. I've been back to Goodwill. I've been stopping the floss. I've been hauling like you wouldn't believe, and have a couple finishes and lots of WIPS to show. So hope you're all doing well. This channel primarily about cross stitch, but this one I'm going to show just a tiny bit of my foray into wool applique, and also I've decided, since I'm retiring, I'm gonna learn to quilt. So maybe not the complex stuff that some of you guys do, but I'm gonna take baby steps and we'll see how that goes. I have sewn for years, did quilting like a long time ago, so it's so totally different that I need to watch some tutorials. So have been on the Fat Quarter Shop site looking at a few of theirs, and if anybody else has people that they think I should watch, send me some suggestions. But I think I'm going to talk about that stuff towards the end, and let's just jump in with some WIPS. Okay, so I've mentioned the series are really driving me nuts. So I've been trying to work on them, and I've committed to working on the wordplay, doing one a month. So halfway through July and still plugging away on this one. I think because I'm constantly changing colors, I should just stitch them as suggested. But I wanted to brighten them up a little bit. Not sure about the yellow sunshine. I'm going to leave that in to the end and see how it looks once I have everything else in. But I'm getting there. There aren't as many words in this one, which is really good. I'm not sure if I'm going to put all these fish in. They kind of remind me of goldfish. And like there's some on top and then there's some on the side. I was thinking that it'd be kind of cute to do fireworks where the ones are on the side instead, since that's close to the word. Or, well, I guess I could even do a sun for sunshine. The little crab guy I think is cute. And then I'd have the fish on the top. So I think that would probably be enough fish for me. So that one's coming along. So that's number 7. So still 5 to go after this one, which is quite a few. So I'm not starting any new series things until I'm totally done with the ones that I currently am involved in. That one I'm stitching with probably a lot of different colors on 32 count raw natural linen. So just kind of a nice blah background color. Then Little House Needleworks Summer ABCs. I was debating whether I should really keep working on this and almost stopped. But then I'm like, even if I don't get it ready for display, if I get it done this summer, then I'll have that series completed. So kind of going a different route. This is 32 count Zweigart blue gray. So copied someone else on Instagram who did America and stars. My stars, I think, look kind of like little walking men. I don't know. I found a size appropriate star charted, so I might rip those out when I'm all done, or I might just leave them be. I'm trying to incorporate all the colors I'm using into the quilts. Ice cream, I'm a little off on that. Lemonade, ready to fill in that lemon tree. And I don't know if this is showing up, but I used a very dark navy for the letters. I'm hoping it doesn't look too black, but that's what it's gonna be. Started the house, and then just started a little bit of the watermelon. But it's come along, and hopefully mid-July, I should get this done before Labor Day, I hope so. I'm working on another series, Prairie Schooler August. And this one I made some good progress. I discovered I'm 1 stitch off on this stupid horse. So I think I'm gonna just try to make it work. But I feel like I'm moving along, and I just noticed the cow doesn't have all his feet, poor thing. You know, once the lettering will go fast, and hopefully there's 4 ears of corn at the bottom, that shouldn't be too bad. So maybe I'll get this one done during August sometime. I don't know. Can only hope for it. Worked just a tiny bit on the Scarlet House American Farmhouse, which I believe I'm stitching on 36 count Edinburgh bark. This was a kit from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. So I'm moving along on Quilt 3. And this really is, you know, like it was a hard stitch for me to begin with, but now that I'm a little more experienced, it really isn't too bad. And I love how it looks. I've accidentally made a few different changes from the original chart, but I like it. It's gonna stay that way. Then we have Chessie and Me. This is Wisconsin River Sampler. Oop. Sorry for the glare. This I believe I'm stitching on Autumn Fields. I'm stitching 1/1. There's a lot of specialty stitches, but I've made some progress. I've got the start of a 1/1 deer in there and added some more of the grass. I mean, I'm done with the border. I think I was midstream with that last time. So that was a good feeling. But I don't know, it's taken a long time, but I guess I don't really need to have it done for any reason. And then, well, I went to my not quite so local needle workshop, Lynn's, in Madison, Wisconsin, and we were gonna go out to lunch afterwards, so I had an hour to spend, and I think I'm gonna, I took a separate video of my haul, and I think I'll show that later. But the chart that I wanted to get material for was Blackbird Design Summer Jubilee. And I started this on the 4th of July, which, unbeknownst to me, was the day that Barb Adams passed away. And so, you know, it such a loss to the cross-stitch world and quilting, but I found it rather ironic. I've been wanting to start this one for, I don't know, ever since I saw it. And so I find it rather ironic that, unbeknownst to me, she passed away that day, and it was my 4th of July start. So I look at it like it'll be my little tribute piece to her. And I'm stitching this on some kind of 36 count. I have it written down, so if anybody wants the color, just send me a message or leave a comment. It's really a pretty variegated gray tones, kind of a steel blue gray, I guess is what I would call it. Now, when I did the outline of the flower with hibiscus, I'm like, holy cow, is that bright? And I'm like, that just doesn't seem like what it looks in when I see it in the book, the finished version. Well, then I look back and there's hibiscus and then there's hibiscus. So I was using the Gentle Arts hibiscus and the called for was weeks. So, I mean, quite a bit of difference. I was just gonna leave it before I figured out there were two hibiscus, two different manufacturers. But now that I've secured the right one, I'm gonna rip it out so it's not quite so in your face. But I love stitching on this one. I mean, the color palette is so beautiful. Ooh, like, you know, you guys hold these things up and they're also so beautiful and perfect, and this is me in the real life. I might have to change out this one, which is blue. I was using blue jeans. I did get the called for, but that might be too close, so I might change that one out as I get to that. Thanksgiving lineup by the Trilogy. I was gifted this chart by Lisa Kindred Stitcher. I had done the Easter one and did it as a flat fold, and I thought, oh, when I saw she had this one up for grabs, I threw my name in because I thought, oh, it's kind of a fun, cute little stitch and be cute as a flat fold. I'm just doing it on, I think it's 28 count Lugana. Mushroom Lugana, because you can never have too much mushroom Lugana. And I just have the silverware done, but it's a cute little start. I just felt like doing something new, something easy, and so I pulled it out. Gotta have more than one whip, that's for sure. This is Grow a Garden, Lila's Studio. I'm stitching it on 36 count Almond Buff by Seraphim. And I love this phrase. I think it's by Audrey Hepburn. I've seen it various places, and I just think it's very, very true. So I did make a little progress from my one ear of corn I had earlier, and didn't really get too far, but I'm going to start really working on this so that I get further along. So, hosting a SAL for Prairie Schooler Santa, the 2021, and I will put the hashtag here. Ooh, pardon, I should be like this, pardon the glare. Well, then I'll maybe be off center, but getting the glare off my china cabinet. So anyways, this is Prairie Schooler 2021 Santa. He's got all these cute little guys on him. And I am stitching mine on 25 count Vintage Country Mocha Lugana, 1/1. So he's going to be tiny. Let's see. This will come in handy. So far that's like 2 inches. So, well, let's see. I have my other one folded underneath here. Let's measure the full thing. I think this one is like 3 inches. I love people who are doing them on 18 count, but for me, I just wanted something just a little bit smaller. So it does go a little slower for me stitching them that way, but it's nice just using 1 thread of DMC. Then we have Drawn Thread Welcome. I'm using mostly my own colors. And it's really getting pretty close to being done. Love it. And since this is my margin, I have no idea what kind of finish I'm gonna do. I do have a crate, so I was thinking about maybe making something that would tie around it and just be on one side, but we'll see when I get it done. Really cute. Oh, I've got something on the other side. Winter Rose Manor, my working copy. I thought I would be done snowing by the time that I showed this again, but I just have a little bit to that side of the door. And then I will be done with snow. I think, well, I have this vase thing, and that has like, I don't know, some greenery or something that goes in it. So I'll probably do that next. And then maybe move to the thing that's on the roof. Another one of those little containers that has flowers in it. And then that'll be the top motif. So I could move on to stitching my border. And then I have a set of trees and another little vase thingy and some personalization. So I'm almost done, right? Hardly. Okay. So let's keep on going with cross stitch. I do have 2 FOs. As I mentioned, been working on these series, Little House Needleworks, and this was the last one of the 10 months that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do November and December, at least I don't think so. And I did, showing June, right? I'm looking at my phone and looking at May, but I'm like, oh, it's June that I'm doing. I pretty much, well, I think I totally did all the called for colors on this one, which made it simpler. And I just did this on a 32 count natural. It's always kind of like when I look at it reverse, it's kind of a good way to see if I've missed anything, because it definitely would jump out at you. And I realized I forgot another FO, so I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna go get it. I'm back, and still have quite a bit to show. I have another FFO. This was gifted to me from Kathy of To Dye House. Thank you so much, Kathy. It's the Drawn Thread, The Night Before Christmas. I mean, it's really tiny and it's really cute. And how I'm gonna finish it, I have this fabric that I hope picks up the burgundy shades. I think like the outline of the berries does. Kind of brings it all together. And I wanted like a tiny print. But anyways, I'm going to make this into like a little wall hanging. And I found this cute little Christmas tree at a new to me quilt shop towards our cabin. And I didn't even realize it. Oh, maybe... Oh, I guess it is. I was thinking it's magnetic on the back. So you could stick it on, I don't know, something magnetic if you I mean, I don't have a fridge that I could stick it on. I thought for a second that it was just my, like I have these magnetic pieces for those boards that you can have your charts on. I thought maybe I just picked up a piece of that with my metal hanger by accident. But anyways, back to this finish. So this is what I'm gonna do. Like, make this into a little quilt and then it'll go on that. So I won't have real much of the fabric showing on the side, but I think that'll be cute. Simple. When I saw this little hanger at the New to Me quilt shop, I said, oh, I have to have that. That'll be perfect for that finish. And it was fun. I will go back when I have more time. I just ran in there real quick and they have a lot of wool applique stuff. I was kidding her, you know, saying, oh, what about cross stitch? But they don't have the space to carry those sorts of things, unfortunately, because I'd be in there every trip up north. Ink circles after the roses. Guess what, guys? It is done. Yay! So this was a SAL that I'll put up here that Kathy of Chidai House and I were hosting, and she finished, well, I don't know, maybe about a month ago. And so then that forced me to get mine out. This is a 32 count, and I stitched with all the called for colors. It's under the sea fabric, autumn something. Again, I've mentioned it in past videos, but I can look it up. The second word of it, I know it's autumn something. Barbara from Keepsakes kitted this up for me, and I love it. And I'm definitely going to frame this. I think if I don't have a square frame that works well for it in my stash, I will invest in one, because this will be out all the time and I think it's just really, really, really pretty. And then I just had one actual cross stitch FFO. I'm trying to, once again, this isn't exactly what I want to have in here. But I made this into a little pocket. This stuff is kind of falling around. I just used Leanne's trick of the soda can tab. And so it would be a wall hanging. I made a couple little wool flowers. And I stuck these little pieces of patriotic looking stuff in, but what I really want to find is like a little dried material or some twigs or maybe some dried status, and then I'll fool around with this more. So that part isn't quite like how I want it, but I really like how this turned out. It was kind of a fun finish. It's, you know, I keep thinking, I don't want everything finished exactly the same. So it's fun to come up with something that is a little bit different from other things that I've done. For stability, I cut a piece of mat board and put it in this section just to hold that more rigid. I kind of wish I had done it all the way up on the top, but I think, you know, once it's hanging on a wall, it'll be pretty sturdy. And then it's kind of stopped the floss, kind of not. It has stitching, so I showed this, I believe, my last video, or maybe I had forgotten it, I can't remember. But anyways, this is my first foray into wool applique, and I believe this is by Primitive Gatherings. If it isn't, I'll put a notation in the show notes or somewhere so you can see. It was a kit gifted to me by Lisa, another Wisconsin stitcher, so thank you, Lisa, so much. She sent me a whole box of various kits and wool pieces, and now that I'm retiring, I will be digging in that box more and more. It's great already, like for the flowers. I found some red, white, and blue, or shades of it, pieces, and this I just filled with wood chips. And the corners I stuffed out a little bit but with cut up batting. And then I just dug in my mom's button box. And like she has some kind of cool things in there. Like I don't know if you can see these. I just decided, I mean, it's not perfect, but like I see here. But for a first attempt, I think it's okay. And it was funny because like the stuff in the button box, like, just, well, to begin with, like the buttons themselves, like some of them I can remember her having clothing with the items on. And I think like my grandma, if she would always reuse, or they made rag rugs out of clothing that was, too worn out to make into something else, and they always like cut off buttons off the clothing if they weren't using them anymore. So it's kind of fun to see what was in there. There was even looked like a pill, like a medicine pill, and I'm like, whoa, somebody probably was looking for that at one time. And so anyways, oh, I have another thing that I want to ask if it's a thing. Because so far my little plastic button covers have been working really well. I mean, I haven't bought a lot of new clothing, but so far so good. So I have another thing to ask if it's a thing. Like, who else gets their hair stitched into their pieces on a regular basis? I feel like I need to wear a hairnet or something while I'm stitching. I mean, I don't know. It's not like I feel like my hair is coming out in clumps or anything, but it seems like without fail, I always end up with, if I look on the back of a piece, always a strand or two stitched in that I'm always trying to get rid of. But I'm getting off on a tangent. So the other thing, I guess that was kind of stop the floss, but not really. I'm gonna take this off of here and show you what else I was working on. And I have no idea what I'm doing with this. So that's when I decided I better start watching some tutorials so I really am more accurate in what I'm doing. But I got my top piece to the Lori Holt's video, or it's not a video, but she made a quilt. I'll put the link to it in the show notes. But I realized like my pressure foot isn't a 1/4 inch, and then I was trying to compensate for that, and I had cut one of these little blocks on the selvage, so I was trying to not have that show. So like my corners really are not very good at all. But I figure for a first attempt, well, first attempt in a long time, not too bad. So I have a couple sewing things so you can see what my background is. This was from probably the 80s. It was one of those quilt as you go things. I mean, the colors are hideous, but I had this hauled out when the grandkids came for an overnight. But so every block is something different. And then of course had the, the pin dot and the everywhere ruffles that the oh, it must have been in the 80s had. But this is when I kind of learned that you shouldn't, I should stand up. So, you shouldn't like always do too matchy because it's not all that interesting color-wise, but it was all hand quilted, and like you made one block and quilted it, and then after it was done, I think you machine sewed it together, and then maybe just whip stitched it on the backside. So anyways, that's as really, and I made one other quilt in a beginner's quilt class I took, and I could kick myself for not saving that one just to use as, you know, a backdrop, because it was all very beautiful autumnal fabrics. And I don't know, I think we used to use it as a display when Leanne and I had our crafting booth, and I think it just got too dirty or ripped or something, and I tossed it, but I shouldn't have. And then the other thing, I thought this was funny, and I just can't get rid of this. I don't know why. This dates back to my, oh, and this is, I'm just going to use this as the binding going around that flag. But so, oh, and this has spots, so you're gonna have to pardon that. But back in the day, there was a shop where you could buy these kits. I think it was called Kit Carson in Milwaukee. And you could buy like kits to make ski suits. And so this was the one I made. It has all this applique stuff. And I remember like you had to like take a candle and kind of sear the edges because it was nylon and it would fray. You can see that that's kind of coming apart. But, you know, I think it's, I can't imagine making this now, I guess. And it like has hidden zippers, so you could take this off and make it into a vest. So, and then I'm trying to think, oh, like these little, there's like little inside pockets with Velcro, and pockets here. It had the loop for hanging. Oh, this must have been out of Colorado Ultra. So even the label to sew in. Ooh. Looks like I could have washed it before I put it away for 50 years. No, not quite. But yeah, it's one of those things that I just can't throw away because it was so much work, and I don't know. Someday my kids can throw it away. That'll be fine. But we were going, I think maybe I was sophomore in college, junior. But we were going to Austria for a ski trip. I found this package deal, and it was really, the price of it really wasn't that bad. And it included airfare and like your lift tickets, maybe not your lift tickets, but like 7 nights at this little pension where you could figure out like, you know, that was back in the day where Europeans in the small towns didn't speak English as much, so you know you kind of had a pantomime for the shower, and it was a lot of fun. We went with another couple and just had a great time. I mean, it was my first time going to Europe, and just was, the ski conditions were so bad. They didn't have any snow that winter, and we went skiing one day and it was so icy, and in these mountains, like it was like you were almost gonna ski right off the side. So at that point we decided to rent a car, and we went to, I know we drove into Italy, just had a quick stay there because that didn't go so well. and then came out and went to Salzburg, and oh, you know, just fell in love with that city. It was just so beautiful. I remember looking up at this castle lit up at night and swans swimming in the river, and it was like a postcard. It was just so magical. But anyways, so I'm really getting off on a tangent. But and to go with it, these weren't worn nearly as much because, you know, I probably wore the jacket the same. But I mean, they had the little gaiter parts, and they had the stretch sewn into them, the little bibs. I think my daughter wore these as her snow pants, like, you know, when she was young. And for your lift ticket or whatever. I mean, I have to say, I am kind of impressed with myself that I was able to do that. I mean, because I think the instructions must have been great, because there was no way that I could have done that. And I think I was inspired by my friend Gail, who used to do ski trips with in college and high school. And I think she had made either a jacket or the ski pants. And, you know, when you're a poor college student trying to, you know, pay for your splurge trip, you need to save whichever way you can. Okay, so that's Stop the Floss and excitement. I went to Goodwill because I had my hair cut, and it's so nice, like, being able to just, like, most of the stores and places around here, if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear masks. So it's been really nice just to be able to go into a store and go shopping. And I finally went and had my first pedicure. First one since, you know, like 16 months ago when we left for Grand Cayman. So that was great. But I'll show you, like, some of my things from Goodwill. I think this was maybe from, I don't know if this was from Michael's, but for $1.99, you know, people have put, it has the little clips, so it'll be easy to get a cross-stitch piece in. Probably won't put the glass on, but, you know, you could switch it out. This would be a good color for St. Patrick's Day, Easter, every day, Christmas, whatever. So for $1.99, I'm like, you are coming home with me. And then because of my new interest in quilting, they had a couple of these little, I think this is a table runner, 99 cents. And this one's flowers. This one's a little October Jacks. And we have a turkey. This one was, that one, those last two were only 50 cents. So I'm like, yeah, let's go home with me. And then just kind of a plain quilted thing. You know, I thought like something this size would be a good thing to practice on. I don't want to go too big. This was, oh, this was from the Fat Quarter Shop, but it's something, a runner you can make with a jelly roll. Just pretty. And then this is Sweet Liberty. So I thought all those would be, you know, good things, projects to venture into my quilting experimentation. Then I just got this frame, which I can see a fall piece in. That was 50 cents. And this black one, another 50-cent frame. And then these two I probably would paint, but they're such odd, long, narrow sizes that I thought for sure there probably would be something that would fit in here someday. So for $1 to have in my stash, that probably would work really well. And then I bought this little This was another dollar thing. But I was thinking of maybe using the back sides and doing some sort of little cross stitch and pulling this out and maybe even antiquing this so it's a little bit more toned down. And this thing, I went back and forth and back and forth, but I could see this like antiqued and in like a tiered tray with like something stitched with the word love. I mean, it is pretty schmaltzy, but you know, every once in a while, cherub's kind of fun. So I had this in my cart and then I took it out and then I had it in my cart and I took it out and I'm like, this shouldn't be such a hard decision for, you know, it's $2. So it's not going to make or break you if someday, you know, you don't use it or you think, oh my gosh, that is hideous. It's just been fun to kind of wrap things up here, what I've been doing. Had our first like big family event with all my siblings, nieces and nephews, their families, for a graduation party, and it was so fun to be back. And you know, we hadn't all been together since like a year ago Christmas, so Christmas of 2019. We had, well, I shouldn't say that because we did an outside gathering at my mom's for her birthday last year, but that was in the height of things, and so you know, everyone had masks on and whatever there at my mom's visit. So this party was just, it was so much fun. And we actually have my sister and brother-in-law have a special anniversary coming up. And so tonight they're hosting a dinner for the family and some friends. My niece from California is in town with her husband. So we're all gathering for dinner, and our son is coming home, and our daughter and son-in-law will get away without the kids. They opted to get their in-laws to babysit, so they'll have, you know, probably one of their first evening outs together without the kids since this all began. So, you know, it's great to have taco dip again. My sister has a great recipe. It's always her assigned dish when we get together. I did a Tuscan bread salad that's really good with like a crusty bread you cut up into cubes, and then seeded tomatoes and cucumbers and red onion, and then just like a red wine vinegar, olive oil, and various seasonings. It's really flavorful. It's really and easy enough. So that's what I made for the party tonight. Can just go and show up, so that's fun. Our son is coming home. We've been like going back and forth with him because our Milwaukee Bucks are in the playoffs, and the first two games were very, very sad, but they kind of sprang back on Sunday. So we're hoping they play tomorrow night again. Wait. Yeah. Oh, I think I gave the wrong day. I think this is, oh geez, I'm going to be a good retiree. So this is Tuesday, not Wednesday. So, I don't know. I'm getting to that point where I went into the office for the first time yesterday to kind of clean out my cubby area, and I could hardly, I mean, I couldn't remember what floor we were on, which is really, really pathetic. I'm like, oh, should this be scaring me? But everything's just as you left it. Like I looked at I always had a printed out calendar with like work holidays and my vacation days on my bulletin board, and you know, it was March 2020. So, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, you wonder civilizations that left in a hurry, you know, what kind of things they left behind. But then, you know, cleaning out 19 years worth of stuff. Thank goodness we had moved buildings a couple times, so several times I had kind of weeded through some of the stuff, and you know, so I didn't have as much as some people like truly needed a dumpster when they retired, but I didn't have that much, and I fit it in one bag pretty much. But it was such a nice day. One of my young co-workers, so sweet, he brought a bouquet of flowers for me, and then one of my other co-workers, she's still working from home, but as am I, but she's like, well, I could come in for lunch. And so we went with a couple others to lunch, and I forgot how like they provide lunch, and it's kind of like going to a cafeteria where you know, nice salad bar, a couple different entrees. The only thing missing was the cookies, which, you know, definitely I can live without. But I'm like, oh, kind of miss the cookies because they're really good. But yeah, so I went in, and that was really supposed to be the only day that I was gonna go in, work from home 2 more days this week. And then I'm on vacation again, and then I work the whole last week of July, and then I'm done. So, but it was so fun. I think I'm gonna go in another day. In fact, I have to, because now I left, you know, like I had a fleecy Afghan and tennis shoes for walking, that sort of thing. So I will go in one of the days the last week, and it just feels more like closure, I guess, because retiring when things aren't back to normal at the company you work for, it was just leaving an odd taste in my mouth. Like, I just didn't feel like, you know, it's kind of like you go away and you weren't planning to go away. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways. So looking forward to that. We had a team gathering at one of my co-workers' house. He invited our comm team over, and it was great. Like, he's worked virtually because he started right when they went into work from home mode. So, you know, you feel like you know this person because you kind of do. And then, yeah, it's like you had never met him. So it was very nice. He and his wife hosted an event, and we went out on their pontoon boat. It was a little cold, but everyone had coats. And then, I don't know what else is going on. Oh, we had another bear sighting. This was a good one. And in fact, if you go to, I don't know how many of you figured out to go to my show notes to see the video of the bear scratching his back, but this time, oh my gosh. My husband, this was during the day, and he's like, oh my gosh, come here, you know, come here really quick. And so I go, and he had put the deer feeder back out again. And during the middle of the day, the bear, I'm just a mess. The bear was going to town on the bird seed, like just like eating it. So my husband's like, look at this. So I'm looking out the bathroom window, and he's on the deck filming himself yelling at this bear, and his voice, I was laughing hysterically because he sounds like the grumpiest, meanest guy, and he's yelling, get out of here, you bear. And then I'm thinking, what name is he gonna call the bear? Because he's not like usually a bad word type person. And he goes, get out of here, you bear, you. I was just dying. It was so funny. And then there's something like, I didn't hear the bear hiss, but he could hear the bear hissing at him. And it just reminded me of like when we used to yell at our dogs who were misbehaving and how they kind of start, you know, moving off, and then they, as you let up yelling, they would kind of like do a roundabout and try to get back to what they were doing. So then he's yelling, "Who are you hissing at?" But anyways, the video is pretty funny. So I will link to it in the drop down so you can experience it for yourself if you care to. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And then we had great 4th of July. The 3rd of July, one of my friends, she's selling the house next year, so this is the last year we could take advantage of this, but you can see the fireworks in the local town right from her back patio. It was the Game 7 for the Bucks, and so she had a TV out on the patio, and so you could like just swivel this much and see the fireworks, the game, the fireworks, the game. So that was great. And they won, so that made it an even better night. That was pretty exciting. And the next day we were invited to my daughter's in-laws. They too will be selling their house, and so we had never been there, so they invited us over, and it was a hot day, but they have a beautiful shaded yard with a nice deck with built-in seating, and so we sat outside there and got to play with the kids. And the kids also came over another day for a barbecue to celebrate the 4th, and so that was fun. We just, you know, did burgers and turkey burgers and, you know, picnic type foods. So that was a lot of fun. And then our daughter was taking her first kidless vacation in years to meet up with her college friends down in Austin. And so my husband and I looked at our schedules and we're like, well, we can, you know, take the kids for one night worked out for us. So just to give my son-in-law or our son-in-law a little break from having 4 all on his own. So we took the 3 older one, and they love to cook. So yeah, we had to make, they call it Bobby's breakfast bake now. It's all bees. I always called it breakfast casserole, but it's like a creme brulee French toast casserole. That's really good, pretty sugary, but it's delicious. So we had to make that then the night before so we could have it for breakfast the next day. And then we made, Farm Girl Loves Goats, Michelle, she had an Instagram story where she had made this peach cobbler, and like I kept replaying it so I could write down the recipe. But anyways, the kids and I made that, and so we had that the next day, which it was really, really good. Thanks, Michelle. It was funny because the 3-year-old, my daughter had gotten, the neighbors went and picked up a case of peaches, and they knew they wouldn't eat them all. So the neighbor lady came over with some peaches, and the 3-year-old, you know, my daughter's thanking her for the peaches and saying how good they look. And the 3-year-old, as she's going out the door, is yelling, "I hate peaches!" So my daughter said, you know, she's just like, oh my gosh. So even though she was on her woman's getaway, when he was eating the peach cobbler, like voraciously, I took a picture of him and texted it to her, and I'm like, guess who likes peach cobbler? So, but yeah, so we had fun with them, and then trying to think what else has been going on. Just, yeah, it seems like, I got together with one set of coworkers and a former coworker whose baby is 16 months and I had never met before. So that was really a fun afternoon out on my friend's patio. She's a beautiful yard. So, Ooh, I'm getting a low battery warning. I wonder why. Too much chatting. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. I think that's, I dropped my little note of things, so I know I'm not in the picture now. But I am now. So hopefully I did a better job of just staying centered. I think maybe I will show what's behind me up on top. It's kind of like my vintagey 4th of July stuff. So it's been fun getting some new 4th of July stitching stuff this year, and now I know I'm easing out of that mode, and like I see people stitching Christmas and it's like, yeah, I need to get moving on some of that stuff. I stitched a lot of fall last year, so probably won't be stitching all that much fall. But if you stay tuned for my haul parade at the very, very end, then you'll see what's up with that. So I hope you're all doing well. My heart goes out to all of the people experiencing hardship, and you know, the fire's starting up again, and you know, just there's so many things that, you know, people are asking for prayers for. So hopefully we can all do a better job of being better humans and, you know, helping our earth too. So stay well and continue to fill the world with love, and I'll see you again. Bye. Okay, so I promised to show you what's on top of this bookcase that was showing a glare during the filming of the video, but these are some of my vintagey things, but I think they still have meaning to me. So Humpty Dumpty was like a kit, I don't know, from Walmart. The little girl, the wooden girl with the flag, my mom always had on her windowsill at her house. And the USA blocks, I've always been meaning to stain or paint the letters, but I'm like, you have to be so careful. So for now, they're just plain. Little teddy bear was probably from the dollar store. The stitch piece was one of my very first finishes. Oh my gosh, I've showed the back before, but it is not anything special, let me tell you. But you know, I guess it's fun to have it be in that state because it shows you the progression you can make. And the little girl, wood little girl, is from a craft fair years ago, and I found the 4th of July patriotic picnic basket at Goodwill, and the little firecrackers are ones we painted years ago. They're actually supposed to go on the speckled star, but well, I liked it upright, and so all kind of, you know, kind of cheesy, but kind of fun. So it works really well. I don't have much space between the soffit and the top of the cabinet, so it works well just to set a few things out there and makes it look kind of festive in here. Okay, that's it. So, this is what happens when you have not been physically in a cross stitch shop in over a year and a half due to the pandemic. We were going to Madison, and so I convinced my husband to let me have a quick run-in. I thought I could get through it in an hour, and even with rushing, that wasn't enough. So he was kind enough to wait in the parking lot because there are limits to how many people in the store, and I managed to find quite a few things, some on my list And by list, I mean things in the back of my head that I know I'll stitch someday, and I always figure if I see the chart when I'm out and about, I'll pick it up. But here we go. So, my Dear Hearts Blackbird design. I love this one. Love this one. And the main reason I bought it around Valentine's Day, I saw a number of people stitching this item, and I just think it's so beautiful. I can't wait to do that one. And really, hopefully it won't take too long. All one color, I think, or maybe two. So should be a fairly quick stitch. I love the Sandra Sullivan designs. This one is Mary Noel Sampler Santa, Cinnamon Stick, and just a really cute design. And I'll, depending on how big it is, I'll either do it as a pillow or make it into an ornament. These little guys I've seen numerous times. This is Prairie Schooler, book number 157, Holidays. I love them all, but you know, the little guy on the sled, or the girl at the window, the snowman, those would be great little pillows for winter. So thinking along those lines. And Prairie Schooler, that's comfort stitching. Here's another Blackbird design, Frosty's Night Out. This one he's such a cheery guy. And so maybe hope to get this one done this year. Doesn't look like it would take too long, not a ton of different colors, and it's cute as a drum, or it could be cute framed. Oh, this one, Bouquet 1813, Samplers Not Forgotten. I've drooled as I've watched people stitch this. And they have the kit with the flosses and the linens. I don't know, I think the wool is maybe the backing fabric, and then also the trim to go around. So just had to pick this one up because I've loved it. And I might be starting this one soon. I feel like I need to add to my everyday repertoire, and so this would be a good thing. I could leave it out year round. The colors in there are so pretty. Just love it. Another Prairie Schooler. I think these would be cute as little pillows, or just probably close to any way you do them. So I don't have a lot of St. Patrick's Day stuff, so maybe would like to do that one. There isn't one that I don't like, other than the jack-o'-lantern is kind of sad. I'd maybe turn that frown upside down. But when I saw these were in cardstock, and oops, this is one that I bought fabric for. So, as long as we're here, this is Liberty Gathering Gray. See if you get the true color. And that's a 36 count. So I'll probably kit this up and put it aside for next year. Now we get into Scarlet House. This is Be Merry and Bright. And I love the colors in this one. I don't think that should be too awful to stitch. It's a lot of lot of the same colors, so maybe this year. And this one I've loved so much every time I see someone stitching it. And it's so simple, but just a really beautiful design. And I don't know, maybe I'll try dyeing some green linen if I can't find a good shade online, because I don't know when I'll be going back to the stitchy store. This little guy, I've always liked. This is Snowman Ornament 2020 Snow Joyful. Another Sandra Sullivan. Homespun Elegance, I should say. He's just a cute little guy. And more Scarlet House. Pumpkin Pumpkin. Pumpkin Pumpkin on the vine. How'd you get so very fine? I did several of her designs last year, and I love them. There's just something about them that I find really comforting. More comfort. We need comfort. And because I don't have much Halloween, I've always liked this one, a Pumpkin Parade. La-di-da. I mean, I don't know. There are frowns in this one, but at least there's happy faces too. So you know how there's got to be a grump in every crowd. So probably maybe would leave. Maybe I'll just leave one of them in. Just kind of be funny. More Scarlet House Fall Frolic. I love this because it has things that allude to Halloween without being in your face. So the owl in the moon and the squirrel on a broomstick. Oh, I guess that maybe is a key. I was thinking it was a broomstick. Just really cute little touches. And this one, Brenda Gervais, pincushion with the tomato craze. I haven't stitched anything tomato-y, but I should get this out. And good way to use some vintage buttons. Oh man, this is worse than I thought it was. More Scarlet House. Strawberry House, Pin Keep. This I should just get out and do right now. Simple little design, but just screams summer to me. Really, really like that. I even forgot what I even bought. Homespun Elegance. Plain and Fancy Collection Sampler Flag. This looks like it would stitch up rather quickly. So I'm already padding my stash bags for next patriotic season. I feel like I'm kind of winding down now and moving on into like full summer and even fall and thinking Christmas. This one, oh, I have loved this one. I just think it's such a beautiful design. Abby Rose Designs, Liberty Lane. Just, I love the border. It's patriotic without being in your face. And just a really beautiful design. And then we have another Brenda Gervais. This is the last one. I was trying to straighten the picture, and then I realized, oh, the picture's on an angle. This is Stars and Stripes, as I mentioned, Brenda Gervais. And there aren't too many people designs I like, but she's really cute. And I love the pomegranates, the little flag, the stars, everything about it. Okay, now we're going to go on to the fabric I purchased. Okay. This is the only one that isn't 36 count, but these are pieces of 32 count clay, and I plan to use these for the rest of my word plays. So now we're going to move on to the 36 count. This is a piece of WIPS straw. It's just really, really pretty golden tone. Golden brown. And I'm not really even sure what I'm going to use that one for, but I knew I wanted a piece of this. This is 36 count Liberty Gathering Gray, R&R. Very pretty neutral. Can't remember what I got this for. Oh, I think maybe a blackbird. And then this is dirty linen. I have pretty Christmas design that I want to use for this. This is Picture This Plus Shadow. I needed a black, pardon my threads, I needed a black fabric linen, but I didn't want anything black, so I thought this was kind of a good compromise, and it's got a lot of mottling, so I think that'll be really pretty. And this is, let's see, this is a different name. I'm not familiar with this. Valley Rayon? V-A-L, sorry, making you dizzy. V-A-L-Y-R-I-A-N, steel. This is what I'm going to use for Blackbird Design Summer Jubilee. I think I have, I've got a lot of the colors. And I'm going to just, ooh. I think most of these are for this. Maybe there's a couple that aren't, but let me hold it up. I'm not used to doing this. But, you know, especially the berry tones. Ooh. And the greens and golds and browns will be really, really pretty on that. So I think since today is the 4th of July, I'm going to start that. So I have like some memory of when I started it. And that was it for my shopping trip. I did get like some needles, some anchor weight, and a couple little remnant pieces of various lakeside fabrics. Oh, look at this mess. So I think that's it. And